Maxwell was among Epstein's closest associates and helped him exploit girls who were as young as 14 years old. Maxwell played a critical role in helping Epstein to identify, befriend, and groom minor victims for abuse. In some cases, Maxwell participated in the abuse herself. As alleged, Maxwell and Epstein had a method. Typically, they would befriend these young girls by asking them questions about their lives, pretending to be taking an interest in them. They would take them to the movies and treat them to shopping trips. Maxwell would encourage these young girls to accept offers from Epstein to pay for their travel and their education, making these young victims feel indebted to Jeffrey Epstein. After developing a rapport with the victims, Maxwell then tried to normalize sexual abuse with a minor victim through a process known as grooming, and helped him exploit girls who were as young as 14 years old. Maxwell played a critical role in helping Epstein to identify, befriend, and groom minor victims for abuse. In some cases, Maxwell participated in the abuse herself. As alleged, Maxwell and Epstein had a method. Typically, they would befriend these young girls by asking them questions about their lives, pretending to be taking an interest in them. They would take them to the movies and treat them to shopping trips. Maxwell would encourage these young girls to accept offers from Epstein to pay for their travel and their education, making these young victims feel indebted to Jeffrey Epstein. After developing a rapport with the victims, Maxwell then tried to normalize sexual abuse with a minor victim through a process known as grooming. For example, Maxwell would discuss sexual topics with the victim and undress in front of the victim, or be present for sex acts involving the minor victims and Epstein. Maxwell's presence as an adult woman helped put the victims at ease. As Maxwell and Epstein intended, this grooming process left the minor victims susceptible to sexual abuse. That abuse included sexualized massages, during which the minor victim was fully or partially nude. These sexualized massages developed into sexual encounters, for which Maxwell, in some instances, was present and participated. Maxwell and Epstein worked together to entice these minor victims to travel to Epstein's residences, depicted on the other chart at the front of the room. His residence in New York City, on the Upper East Side, as well as Palm Beach, Florida, and Santa Fe, New Mexico. Some of the acts of abuse also took place in Maxwell's residence in London, England. In addition to allegedly enabling and participating in the sexual abuse of young victims, Maxwell compounded her crimes by repeatedly lying in 2016 when she was questioned under oath. And we have charged those lies in 2 perjury counts. Maxwell lied because the truth, as alleged, was almost unspeakable. Maxwell enticed minor girls, got them to trust her, then delivered them into the trap that she and Epstein had set for them. She pretended to be a woman they could trust. All the while, she was setting them up to be sexually abused by Epstein, and in some cases, by Maxwell herself.
digital soldiers to True Reporting. It is the 2nd of July, and on today's podcast, I think you've heard the news today. Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested. She is the head boss over Epstein. Epstein just being a puppet now that we have been told by Q. And guys, this is mind-blowing. This is going to be a giant red pill for a lot of normies to swallow. We're going to be going into that and a whole lot more. We have memes to go through today. We're actually going to go through the indictment and much, much more. So please stick around, my friends. It is always an honor for me to stand with you on the front lines day in and day out, because where we go one, we go all. Guys, let me tell you about Health with True Reporting. It's about collagen and how important it is. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body and is essentially the glue that holds you together. In fact, after the age of 20, people produce about 12% less collagen in their skin each decade. That is very serious. For some, it's an even greater decline. This means that by the time you're middle-aged, like so many of us are, you could be producing less than half of the collagen that you did in your youth. Even worse, various lifestyle factors you have made and have been exposed to, like poor diet, smoking, pollution, stress, and excessive sun exposure, could make it even worse. So visit my page at www.healthwithtruereporting.com and secure your supply of the best collagen on the market that I trust. Link is in the description box below. It helps repair your health and your hair to make it look shiny and young looking again, supports joint flexibility, strengthens nails, teeth, and gums, promotes strong, healthy muscles, tendons, and ligaments, promotes stronger bones, supports digestive health. Guys, go to www.healthwithtruereporting.com. Get your collagen. You're going to feel 10 times better, and I have some right here. So don't think that I'm playing around. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, it's good to have you aboard. Before we get into today's show, would you please go ahead and subscribe to my backup channel, True Reporting 2.0? I would greatly appreciate it. Also, my friends, would you please be kind enough as to click that notification bell so when I do upload a video or go live on this channel, you'll get the alert and you'll be the first to know. And finally, friends, please go ahead and click that like button. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. And with that being said, my friends, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. Guys, we're going to start off right now with some Q post, actually one Q post that is most significant to say the least. Post 4565. Is Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest more significant than Jeffrey Epstein's arrest? Possible Epstein was a puppet, not the main persons, in plural, of interest. Very interesting, my friends. I'm telling you, this is going to be a domino effect, and people are going to be waking up left and right. Financed by who or what foreign entities? Some people are saying Saudi Arabia at this point. Primary, gather blackmail on elected poll positions, dignitaries, royalty, Hollywood influencers, Wall Street and other financial top-level players, other high-profile industry-specific people, etc. This is what his job was. He was a puppet to the Mossad. This is what he was. And he would blackmail people so that they, in return, would be in control. To feed an addiction, controllable. What is the addiction? We all know it is very, very dark. As we can see with the intro video, they're going to push it. The mainstream media is going to say, hey, Epstein and Maxwell, they were procuring younger women. That's what they're going to say. But we all know what it really is pedo. It goes all the way down the lines to even babies. You think about the pineal gland. You think about adrenochrome. You think about abuse on so many levels, torture. I want the worst for these people. I want them buried in the dirt. And I really believe that we will see a domino effect. There's no escaping this. The Southern District of New York is wide open. We'll get into that a little later in the show. But I'm telling you, I feel like the floodgates have opened. We thought it was going to be with Epstein. Now we are being shown from Q that he was just a puppet. Think of how high the hierarchy goes, my friends. A lot of big names are going to be called out and brought to the foreground. Robert Maxwell, Maxwell's family background. What were they? Who were they? Robert Maxwell's history, which is Ghislaine Maxwell's father, his history of intel, the agency, wealth, classified 1 through 99. Sometimes it's the people in the background that are of greater significance. Obviously, they hide in the shadows. They dangle the strings over their puppets. This is what they do. I believe this man has passed away. I believe as of right now, he would be 97 plus years old. I think he's gone. So who takes over the reins? His daughter. It's like it's passed down through lineage. Guys, I believe so much is coming. I think we need to sit back and relax. A lot of us on YouTube, a lot of us on Twitter, a lot of us on Parler, all of us had become depleted. This takes a toll on each and every one of us. Even if you're not on these social media platforms as a face, it's still harmful to us. It's a lot of information to take in. A lot of it is not very positive, and it can be draining. And guys, today is a big win. And I feel as though justice is not that far away, that this could be a giant turning point and just in time for the 4th of July, right? Absolutely. I wanted to move forward actually into TechnoFog at techno_fog. Please follow him or her on Twitter. I know that this person has been retweeted by the president and the president's son. The Ghislaine Maxwell indictment, this is what we're going to go over. And the charges included conspiracy to entice minors to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors to engage in illegal sex acts, transportation of a minor to engage in illegal sex acts, perjury, lying under oath, which she has done. She has done this. This is a real sealed indictment, and we're going to get into how many indictments are out there still to go. United States District Court, the Southern District of New York. Remember, so many times we have talked about that. What else is in the Southern District of New York? Oh yeah, Anthony Weiner's laptop. That's another rabbit hole to go down if you don't know what we're talking about. That, my friends, is going to be a treasure trove of information and bringing forth some very, very dark stuff. The United States of America versus Ghislaine Maxwell defendant. Count 1, conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. The grand jury charges. The grand jury further charges the allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 8 of this indictment are repeated and re-alleged as if fully set forth within. From at least in or about 1994 up to and including in or about 1997 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Ghislaine Maxwell, the defendant, knowingly did transport an individual who had not attained the age of 18 in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense and attempt to do so. Guys, who was the president between 1994 and 1997? You guessed it, old Bill Clinton. And we're going to get into him a little furthermore because the Gateway Pundit actually dropped a bomb on this today. I feel like this is all coordinated by white hats. It feels like an operation is taking place in real time. And on the count of perjury, the allegations contained in paragraph 1 through 8 of this indictment are repeated and re-alleged as if fully set forth within. On or about April 22nd of 2016 in the Southern District of New York, Ghislaine Maxwell, the defendant, having taken an oath to testify truthfully in a deposition in connection with a case then pending before the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York under docket number 15 CIV 7344, knowingly made false material declarations, to wit, Maxwell gave the following underlined false testimony. The question being asked, did Jeffrey Epstein have a scheme to recruit underage girls for sexual massages? If you know. And the answer, I do not know what you're talking about. So long, Ghislaine. It's time for you to go to prison. Have fun with that, right? I pray to God that this person is in safe captivity, because if they are not, they're going to be Clinton-sided. So guys, this is nothing to turn your nose up at. We needed this. We needed a big win. I needed this. I think we all needed this. And just talking about these indictments, right? There's plenty more out there. And I wanted to bring this in, speaking about the Southern District of New York, coming at us from X22 report. The Southern District of New York, Berman has been removed. This person was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, then fired. Get this, 12 days later, this arrest takes place. It seems like the Southern District of New York has been opened. It's ready to go. The floodgates are ready. The prosecutors are in place. It's go time. Coincidences? I think not. Crimes against humanity will be exposed, and that is absolutely the truth. It's coming, guys. It's coming. Think Clinton Foundation. Think Haiti. Think Prince Andrew. This leads all the way to the Vatican. It leads all the way to the Rothschilds. A lot of big names will go down. The Southern District of New York just announced the Ghislaine Maxwell case, like the original Epstein case, is staffed by the Public Corruptions Unit. I worked at the Southern District of New York, and I did see sex trafficking cases. They do not run out of public corruption unless there is some potential angle against a public official. So, you may be asking yourself, what does the Public Corruption Unit do? I can show you right here. The Public Corruption Unit works in close partnership with the FBI and other federal, state, and city investigative agencies to maintain and protect the integrity of all levels of the government. The unit oversees the investigation and prosecution of corruption, crimes committed by elected and appointed official government employees and individuals and companies doing business with the state, the city, and federal government. Guys, this opens up the door to what? CEOs, politicians, former presidents. Corruption crimes investigated by the unit include bribery, they've all done it, embezzlement, you betcha, and frauds committed against local, state, and federal government agencies, they've all done this. There's a huge money laundering scheme going on with these big-time players. And the fact that this Public Corruptions Unit is working in the Southern District of New York, it's been freed up because they have the right prosecutors in place, is massive. I will also show you this coming at us from Mel Q. If you thought today was nothing more than something happening in the news, you're very wrong. White during the Ghislaine Maxwell arrest? Guys, we can get a little esoteric. Coincidence? I think not. The Schumann residence, as we can see here on 2-7, massive white blasts going throughout. This is actually speaking on 5D energy, very positive energy. It's like we're awakening when these blasts of light hit the Schumann resonance. Very interesting, to say the least. Now, guys, this may also blow your mind. I'm telling you, this is an action-packed podcast. This is not good. Dropping today from the Gateway Pundit a few hours ago. In May, reports came out that Bill Clinton dated Ghislaine Maxwell. Now she's under arrest. What next? What does this tell you? What does this show you? It shows you that there are direct ties. There's no hearsay. We're seeing them on a plane together, walking down together. In May, a new book claimed that Bill Clinton had an affair with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's alleged madam, former girlfriend as well. They passed these people around. Bill Clinton had an affair with British-born socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who was accused of helping recruit underage victims for notorious you-know-what Epstein, according to a blockbuster new book. The ex-president, remember, we all knew this, that former presidents would be indicted. They are tied to this. It's going to lead all the way back to Obama himself, who denies cheating on his wife Hillary Clinton with Maxwell, reportedly engaged in the romps during the overseas trips on Epstein's private plane, who, as you could see from the intro video, was all over the flight logs. I think he's been on there 23-something times. The trips on Epstein's private plane, a customized Boeing 727 that's since become known as the Lolita Express. Remember when all of this used to be just hearsay and conspiracy, where we would talk about Epstein, we would talk about Epstein Island and the tunnels, and we would talk about the Lolita Express? All this has come forward. If we're here, imagine what else is going to come out. It's on its way. This I can promise you. I want to show you a video real quick that was put out by, I believe, another news publication. I'll show it to you. It ties all of this together with Bill Clinton having an affair with Ghislaine Maxwell. Very close ties indeed. Very interesting to say the least, right, guys? I wanted to go into an older article coming at us from the Crooked Daily Beast. This is incredible that it's out there, though, and it ties everything together dating back to even last year. We're coming up on a year on this article. On August 10th of 2019, Epstein died in an apparent jailhouse suicide. For more information, see the Daily Beast reporting here. Newly unsealed court documents in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal contain testimony from an ex-employee of New York City power couple Glenn Dubin and Eva Anderson Dubin about a distraught Swedish teen's claim that she was pressured to have sex on the you-know-what financier's private island. Ronaldo Rizzo, a former house manager for the Dubins, was in tears as he described his 2005 encounter with the 15-year-old girl and one of his employer's kitchen. According to excerpts of the 2016 deposition made public for the first time on Friday, the butler said that as the girl sat on the stool at a long counter where she was brought by Anderson Dubin, an ex-girlfriend of you-know-who, she reminded him of other girls he had seen at Epstein's home. He said she was, in quote, distraught and even shaking, literally quivering, as she spoke about her dealings with Epstein's alleged madam, British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, and his personal assistant, Sarah Kellen, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. She sat down and sat in the stool exactly the way the girls that I mentioned to you sat at Jeffrey's house, with no expression, and with their head down, Rizzo testified. Rizzo said that after Anderson Dubin left the kitchen, he introduced himself and his wife to the teen. She doesn't really respond, Rizzo recalled. Nothing verbal, no cues. Her head is still down. I asked her if she would like some water, tissues, anything, and she basically didn't respond. Rizzo said he decided trying to make small talk. Oh, by the way, do you work for Jeffrey? He's recalled asking. Yes, the teen said, by his account. What do you do? He asked. I'm Jeffrey's executive assistant, personal assistant, she replied. That makes sense, right? Absolutely not. She looked much too young for that. And Rizzo said he asked her how she got the job and how old she was. And she says to me, point blank, I'm 15 years old. Rizzo testified. And I said to her, you're 15 years old and you have a position like that? At that point, she breaks down hysterically. And I feel as if I just said something wrong because she will not stop crying. According to the deposition, Rizzo and his wife tried to console her with words of renewed offers of water and tissue. Nothing worked. And then in a state of shock, she just lets it rip. And what she told me was unbelievable, Rizzo testified. She proceeded to tell my wife and I was on the island, and there was Ghislaine, and there was Sarah Keller. And she said, they asked me for sex, and I said no. Rizzo later clarified she didn't specify who asked for the sex. She said that they asked for sex. Rizzo testified that when she refused to have sex, Kellen took her phone and passport and gave them to Maxwell. At that point, she said she was threatened, Rizzo testified. And I said, threatened? She says, yes. I was threatened by Ghislaine not to discuss this. Rizzo asked the teen if she had contacted her parents. She says, I'm not supposed to talk about this, he recalled. The teen reported that Epstein had also threatened to keep her quiet about what had gone on. The word she used was sex. Rizzo testified, adding that it was clear the girl was in fear. She was shaking uncontrollably, he testified. Rizzo said the girl stopped answering questions when she heard someone approaching the kitchen. Eva comes in and tells her that she will be working for Eva in the city, Rizzo testified, as a nanny. He said he saw the girl approximately a month later aboard a flight with the Dubin family to Sweden. She was dropped off at a Swedish airport. Epstein was arrested last month and charged with sex trafficking, accusing of recruiting dozens of underage girls to his home in New York and also Miami. Rizzo's testimony was submitted in a different case, a defamation suit brought by Epstein accuser Virginia Roberts Guthrie against Maxwell. The case, which was settled in 2017 on confidential terms, contained a trove of documents the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit ordered unsealed. And guys, that's going to be coming forward. Those documents also revealed that Guthrie, who claimed she was Epstein and Maxwell's sex slave, had accused Glenn Dubin of being part of Epstein's sex trafficking ring, which he denies. Glenn and Eva Dubin are outraged by the allegations in the unsealed court records, which are demonstrably false and defamatory. The Dubins have flight records and other evidence that definitively disprove that any such events occurred, a spokesperson for the Dubin family told the Daily Beast on Friday. And now this comes out? Guys, everything is going to come out. You've just got to pay attention. You've got to have patience. And I wanted to leave you with this. This is huge. The Senate panel advances bill targeting online child sexual abuse. This came out today. Coincidence? I think not. The Senate Judiciary Committee on Thursday unanimously advanced a bill tying legal protections for online platforms to efforts to combat child sexual abuse material. The Eliminating Abuse of Rampant Neglect of Interactive Technologies, EARN IT. The act would amend Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act to allow federal and state claims against online companies that host child exploitation content. Section 230, which is in the mix, it has a lot to do with me, Red Pill, X22, In Pursuit of Truth, and so many more. It's there because it is in place to say that these platforms are publishers and they are editing. They are no longer platforms, they are publishers and are liable to be sued, which has come under increased scrutiny since President Trump targeted as an executive order in May. It gives internet companies immunity from lawsuits for content posted on their sites by third parties and allows them to make good faith efforts to moderate content. They only silence conservatives, and we all know it, and they silence and suppress the truth. The legislation advanced on Thursday would create a government-backed commission to develop best practices for purging child sex abuse material from the internet. Get it off. It's $1 billion slush fund coming from the worst things that you could ever imagine. An earlier vision of the bill had been conditioned on Section 230 liability protections on compliance with those best practices. But a manager's amendment from Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham and Senator Richard Blumenthal removed that tie after intense criticism. The amendment was unanimously approved on Thursday. And my friends, a lot is going to happen. Everything seems to be flowing at this point. I love it. It's right before the 4th of July. Justice will be served and evil will be placed in the dirt. All we have to do is have faith, pray for humanity, pray for our president, and things will move forward in the right direction. Remember, guys, God wins. We just have to have faith in what's going on, and I can promise you things will occur. If you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel. If you want to, please follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting. Don't forget to leave a like. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Remember, it is always an honor for me to be on the front lines with you day in and day out. God bless each and every one of you, and where we go one, we go all. Guys, if you found what you just watched informative and you enjoyed it, then please subscribe to the TRUreporting family today. There are many ways to support this channel, like our Patreon link, our PayPal link, and our TRUreporting.us official website link in the description box below. Join the TRUreporting family today and be a part of history, because where we go one, we go all.